Hey y'all, today we're going to build a wall-mounted filament holder that's going to have a spot for both an active spool as well as some storage for my 3D printer filaments. It's going to look a little something like this. Now we're going to start with the area on the right for the active spool. You can see how there's a section carved out of these two pieces. That's where a dowel is going to slide in and out so that the spool can easily be changed out and is free to spin around. In order to do this, I drilled out a hole with the Forstner bits down to 3/8 of an inch, and then I marked out the sides to connect that to the top. And I did a basic chiseling technique here of marking it out and then creating a small shoulder. I then repeated that a second time, going a little deeper this time. And this is where you can see on this one that shoulder becomes pretty pronounced here. This really is just breaking the wood fibers so that that line will stay clean as it goes through. And then after marking the top section, I went ahead and started removing the waste out of here. First with the chisel, and then I came back with my rabbet plane to go through it and get a nice smooth surface, and as well as clean up all the corners within there. You can see a nice finish that comes out with when you break all the fibers on the surface first. Now for the other side, where there's going to be a permanent rod installed as part of the storage, I went ahead and tested another Forstner bit to make sure it's the right size for the rod, and then drilled out 2 holes on those 2 pieces to be able to connect it. Now before cutting the rod to the right size, I went ahead and attached the 2 side pieces. That way I could get these permanently on and then attach the middle piece and get that middle dowel to the right length. So for this, I clamped them together, then I put a drill all the way through it. This is cherry, and so the screws are going to really grab it tight. So I went ahead and countersunk in the back and screwed in the 2 sides, then used some spacers to find the right spot for this middle section, then cut my dowels to length, and had a quick test fit and measurements to double check that it was the right size and everything was in the right position. Now, after taking this apart, to actually put this on the wall, I'm going to try using these little picture frame hooks. I saw them also called just nail eye hooks online. But essentially I have to carve out a space in the back of the board so that this is inset, so that once I put it on the wall, the board will be flush with the wall. So the same process of chiseling out and then using the plane to create a smooth surface in here, and then making sure it's under the surface. I haven't done a lot with hand tools recently, and this project was a great excuse to break them back out and get back into it. I definitely miss this part of woodworking as I've gotten more power tools, but I need to get a few more projects under my belt with just the hand tools here coming up. So the last piece before assembly, I wanted to get a uniform corner on these pieces that are going to be sticking out. And so previously I would have used a bandsaw to get this, but now that this oscillating sander's in my arsenal, it made quick work of that. And so everything got sanded, progressing through the grits. And then it was time for glue and screws. Everything got a final hand sanding after getting wet down to raise the grain. And then stain, still something I'm not great at, as you can tell in my technique here, but something to be worked on. And then I finished it out with a hard wax oil. Again, I'm really enjoying this after I started using it on the last 2 projects. Once that was dried, I attached the hooks on the back and then put 2 screws in the wall. And then after a lot of struggle, eventually got this to click into place. And you can see here how I'm going to insert this little dowel through, and it's going to sit in those joints. And that's going to be able to spin freely. And then I have extra storage here on the side. That's it for this one. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. And I do have plans for this one on my website. Y'all have a good one.